Well, yeah. I do. I think I'm actually.
Hey everyone, sorry about that. We've started recording, so please watch your language. Okay, right. Welcome to Leisure. Almost a full house tonight, as I said. Let's get straight on with agenda item 1, questions from members of the public. There'll be a maximum of 15 minutes. I don't think we have any members of the public per se, so everyone okay for me to move on? Okay, apologies for absence. I know we've received from Paul Widdowson. He's on.
I've had apologies this evening from councillors Mrs Alves de Souza, Mrs Bettison, Mrs Quigg and Widdowson.
Agenda item number 3, members' interests. Any members' interests? Nope. Okay. Agenda item 4, to receive and confirm the minutes of the proceedings of the Leisure Committee held on the 20th of November 2025 as a true and correct record. I would like to propose the minutes from the 20th of November 2025. All in favour? Any against? No. Okay. Anyone abstain? Sorry. Oh. Try and catch a sound. Okay, and you did. Agenda item number 5, large events, to receive an update from the Music Festival Working Group and to consider a collaboration with Glow Radio. Decision item.
Happy to talk about the actual music festival if you want to do the Glow part.
Sure.
So as you all know, we've had a couple of meetings for the working group for the music festival.
Oh, sorry. I've just done it.
Date has been set as the 18th of July and plans are underway. The working group have met a couple of times. Last time we sat watching lots of different videos for various tribute acts and trying to come to some agreement. So we've got very different ideas between everyone on the working group. But I can confirm that it's been agreed that we are having one community act and the rest of the acts are tribute acts that are paid for, professional tribute acts. So we have gone out to a couple of schools for them to do the opening act. And then we have booked Tina Turner, Kylie Minogue, Pop Gods, Robbie and Coldplay. So quite a good lineup. Yes, yeah. Flying in specially.
Yeah.
And plans are underway with all the rest of the stage, security and all the logistics for that.
Thanks. We were approached about the festival by a local radio station called Glow Radio. They're based in Farnborough. I think they've got about 500,000 listeners, and they asked if they could be involved in events and any advertising and the like. They did offer to compare, but I believe we've got compare services, and they want to come along on the day and do the show from the festival. So, and their price is free, which is my favourite price. Yeah. So I guess it's just up to us to find whether or not they can come. So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts, has come across the radio station before at all.
They were going to give us a proposal for this evening, but it hasn't come through in time. So Graham and I had a telephone call.
Yeah, and they seem. I looked into them, and they seem a good. They're not for profit, so they're not for profit local radio station. So I think it's a good thing. I don't see any downsides unless anyone can think of any problem with having them.
Do we know how they heard of it? The event?
They do gig on the green.
Oh, right, yeah.
and they heard about it through
Through Facebook.
Facebook and stuff. Yeah.
And it's in our Facebook post
Yeah.
for Save the Date.
So, I mean, they seem friendly enough to me. So, I mean, I'd like to propose that we allow them to do the show from the festival on the day. Do I have
Read a second.
marvellous? Please can we vote? All in favour? Any against? Any abstaining? That's passed. Thank you very much, Heather. And
Sorry, can I just check? You're on Teams. Oh, have you got a background on Blur?
oh yeah, the background is on blur. Yeah, it is. That is a good point. So yeah, you have to go up to
You can go to the camera,
Camera,
go to the camera and it will
background.
put background on.
to the arrows, I think, because that just
Yeah, it's the arrows
to the
on the
arrows.
side. No, right next to, right next to the
Yeah,
camera, right next to the camera.
yeah. If you do click here, none.
There we go.
And I think then you have to do apply if you click the camera back on again as well. Hopefully, there we go.
Go.
There we go. That should be all right. Good shout. Okay. And then agenda item number 7, green flag.
6.
Oh, but we did 6 was music and park,
No.
wasn't it?
It's the
Community.
This is the best band.
Oh, sorry. Ignore me, I'm going mad. Agenda item 6, music in the park. Consider a request from the Sandhurst Community Brass Band to perform a concert in the park. Is annex.
Is this at a different time to the music event?
Yes, they have requested 3 dates, one being the 5th of July, 12th of July, 19th of July. Obviously, the 19th of July is not practical because the stage will be being taken down. There'll be people in and out. It'll be very disruptive for them. And I've also since found out that the Tug of War have booked their tournament on the 12th of July. So the only date that will be available for them would be the 5th of July if this committee is happy for them to go ahead with that.
Do we vote? No? Oh,
Good idea.
I think so.
It's to.
thanks, that. Can I just ask a question? Does it involve the ground staff in any extra work?
No.
No, they do. They do.
No, they're saying
Every year.
They're saying it can't be done.
Last year.
So I propose.
Anybody?
I'll say.
Oh, second. Oh,
Okay, all in favour? Any abstaining? Against? No. Marvellous. Right, now to agenda item number 7, green flag. To consider applying for the Green Flag Award at Sandhurst Memorial Park. That is a decision item. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments?
I would be not.
Well, I would like to propose that we do apply for the green.
You happy to second that?
I think Mike's seconded it.
Okay.
Okay. Good. And all in favour? Any against? Any abstaining? No, that passed. Okay. Parking in the park to receive information regarding feasibility of using the area near the skate park for a smaller car park. This is obviously linked to the idea of some budgeting. Obviously, this was something that I suggested, looking at what the advice is from around some of the trees in that area. I'm not going to be proposing it for now, so I suggest we move on unless anyone has any particular points. Yes?
Yeah, there was a suggestion from one of the borough officers that they could do a survey to see if it's possible to improve the surrounding area for the particular tree that's causing the major problem. And I think it's free of charge if the borough do it. I was wondering if it was worth pursuing it to that extent.
Philip, I think you're talking about the Was it the piece on my paper? Yeah. Yeah, so what he's done, he's already done those calculations.
Yeah.
And just sent that through to me. I just emailed it to Graham about half an hour ago. His calculation actually says that it covers the whole of that area. And just to read you
You
out
might have to dig some of the car park up.
his comments.
Sorry, I'll withdraw that remark.
So,
I mean, even before I had that report.
It's a no.
so do you want me to read his comments to you?
No, that's fine.
No, we're fine.
It's a no.
Yeah, he doesn't advise that we do it.
Okay, agenda item number 9, then moving on to receive an update following a meeting with a resident who requested that we consider a pump track. Give an update. Yeah, I mean, we met with the resident, Ange and I, and she had quite a lot of information for us. And yeah, it's quite impressive. It's an impressive idea. I think the biggest concerns, the two big concerns that we have are, number one, cost, and number two, where to put it. I think one idea that was floated around, and I apologise, I can't remember who floated this. Was it you? Yeah, it was Ange. Floated the idea of possibly putting the pump track up at Owlsmore, because there actually would be space there, whereas on the park, we can't think of a really good place to put it. So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on that side of things.
That's how much space it takes, and I'm sorry if you covered this at the last meeting.
It really depends. So I've been speaking to a guy from a company that are currently about to start building one in Mill Pond Park for Bracknell. And he has said that you're looking, obviously, the size is up to you, but you need a sufficient amount of size to make it worthwhile. There's all variations, shapes, sizes, materials, etc. But you're looking at a ballpark figure of 100,000 to have something reasonable. He's looked online at the park and thinks that Owlsmore would be suitable, but obviously he'd need to have a proper survey. The ruling for the building of it is that it needs to be where am I here? 30 metres from residential buildings, and that is the actual house, not their garden boundary. So he feels that there will be room there. That's where it is at the moment. I am aware as well that there are also plans for one to be built up at the somewhere in Crowthorne Parish. I think it's up near the new Butler's Park area. The clerk over at Crowthorne has informed me is in the planning as well. So that will be 3 in very near proximity.
Yes,
That's when you've got the one that.
Do the riders not arrive in cars, trucks, vans with trailers and things to these points?
It's not that
Cycle there.
but you go on it with just your BMX or mountain bike.
So they don't arrive with.
No, it's not like cross biking or anything.
And
And the other,
where they're going to park.
the other thing that the resident did also say is that they will look to fundraise for it as well. And to be fair, she seems very determined. So it does sound like a very good thing. I'm not sure what is the decision item whether to go forward with it.
Well, yeah, we need to look at, if we're going to do it, we need some budget for it. And yeah, we've obviously left it with the resident that we'll talk about it further. She did float it on social media to see whether people thought it would be a good idea. But she has agreed not to do that anymore because until we've sort of made a decision, because she doesn't want to allude to the fact that we've agreed and we're going to do it, and then obviously people are let down. So everything's sort of on hold. And then when it came onto the committee last time to actually have a decision, we didn't have enough information. So that's where we're at with it.
Nick.
Curious to know as to whether she'd be so enthusiastic if she finds out there's already, one going at Crowthorne and one going at
She
Mill
is
Pond.
aware,
Yeah.
So they're pretty close.
yeah.
What other cost area does it actually take up? Did they get to any dimensions?
Yeah, well, there was a few dimensions.
I mean, it can be as small or as big as you want it to be, but to be worthwhile, it's going to have to
If
be,
it starts
yeah.
from 100,000, what area does that give you?
I don't think it starts from
No.
100,000.
So we'll be looking at 100,000.
It's just that's
Reasonable size.
quite quickly the costs escalate, I think I think it starts at about 50 to 70, but yeah, it goes
I
up.
mean, you're talking to around 60 metres.
Yeah. I mean, it is a good thing.
I mean, I think in Osmore, you'd have a job to get away 30 metres away from a residential area.
Yes.
So if you think of the size of that,
From the houses.
yes.
I don't know, he's had a look and he thinks it's feasible, but obviously he'd do a proper survey if we wanted to go ahead.
Yes.
We would struggle.
Is this really the question? Do we want to look at the feasibility of this?
Well, that's what this is.
Yeah.
If we want to look at the feasibility, is there a cost for someone to do it? Or would, for instance, the contractor that you spoke to do something for free, just a rough scheme design? Or is it actually to look at it properly, it's going to cost?
Well, because we're coming up to the budget, if we don't agree some budget for it, it won't be able to happen this year. So that's why we spoke about it in the last meeting and brought it back here, having done a few bits and pieces and getting a rough figure. So if it is something that you think you would like to take forward, we need to put some budget in for it because it's a hefty amount, so.
Okay.
But yes, in answer to your question, Mike, he would do a quote, of course, he'd come out and do a quote, yeah.
I'm not convinced we're actually far enough forward to even put something in the budget because firstly, I don't think we got 100,000 to find the budget. I don't think we got, haven't got that sort of money anyway. But if you want to, I think you need to do more research into how much it's, plan it and cost it. And then maybe for the following year, you might want to try and consider getting into the budget. I think, you've got to find out where the money's coming from because I don't think we've even got that much sill left.
There's also
think it would all-
consultation with
Yeah,
people.
absolutely, yeah.
To ascertain, probably also see how the Crowthorne one goes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, what use it gets compared to Mill Pond.
Yes.
So what fraction of finance that this lady would accept? I mean, would it be 50% or 25%? Because that's the answer you need back to know what our commitment would be, rather than saying we'll fund the whole lot.
Who's paying for the Mill Pond one?
Bracknell Town Council.
Still wasn't.
I don't know how, I haven't asked Jackie, but they're funding.
They don't get a lot of sill.
No, they're like us with Sil, they're not
They,
a great.
their area
Yeah.
in town, Bracknell Town Centre is 0 rated for sill. They don't get a lot.
so
I'd like to propose that we put it on hold for a further year to see how the usage of Mill Pond and the Crowthorne site go. We could use that as a sort of feasibility to
Is there worth
look at the
allocating
area
budget?
up in Oldsmore and then consider it next year.
Yes, Diane.
Worth allocating a small budget for research or surveys or whatever needs to be done?
I don't think we'd need a budget for that, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the contractors will come out and do you a
well, in that case, if we
for free.
get a quote, but
Get feasibility done.
yeah.
Well, it's one or the other, isn't it?
The quote gives us something to then base a decision on. And it's
Proposal is that we put it on hold for a year. That's the proposal.
Is there
we
a
just
second?
had.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there a counter proposal?
I've just proposed that we get a quote, so we have a figure on the table and to see if it's feasible, because then if it's not, because there's 30 metres and the rest of it, and the site selection, we could just bid it and come back to the resident with I'm sorry, we don't have a feasible location. It then just closes the loop now, rather than, giving the resident the feeling that we might do something in a year's time.
So the amendment to the motion is, can we get a quote on Ellsmore so that we have a basic understanding. But then, because of the timing,
Okay, are you happy to make that amendment to the original? Are you happy to accept the amendment?
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, okay, marvellous. All in favour? Any against? Any abstaining? Marvellous, that is passed. And then agenda item 10, Leisure Committee budget planning. To receive any financial requests from the Leisure Committee to be considered in the budget plans for the next financial year. So next item 3. Does anyone have anything they'd like to discuss?
I just point out a few things that in setting up the budget that we've already raised. It's just a couple of things on the leisure breakdown. So salaries across the board will be going up the budget for them 5%, which is due to increases and also the NI increase. Each salaries are split across different sections. So the ones for leisure are for the grounds team. That's the budget there. So that will be going up to 182. Sand, as Nikki, I'm sure, could vouch for.
Back still remembers it.
We've used a lot of sand this year, so we need to increase the budget for that. So that's going up to 1,500. And we have got the rolling car park reserve, where every year we put 5,000 into the car park reserve to build up until such times as we need to utilise that. They are the changes that the budget is coming out with already. So it's just if there's any other suggestions or recommendations.
Oh, can I think from the tennis club? The tennis club is going along very nicely in the courts we have there, which are wonderful surface. The problem is we are a bit stuck in the past. We've been in those courts now and doing it for several years, and we go year on year, and we get on all right. But one of the things that we've always lacked is floodlights, and we did discuss that at one time, but it's sort of fallen to one side. And in addition, the coming thing these days is paddleboard, and I see in Bracknell that they've got half a dozen courts already beside the leisure centre there. And we're doing all right, but we're stuck in the past. And I wondered what we could do or think about to try and change that and get ourselves more in the current idiom.
The floodlights were discussed in this committee, and the idea was declined.
Yeah.
So that's not something that's going to be happening
Okay.
at the moment, because that was quite recently.
It was very cost prohibitive.
Yeah, very,
it's
very
very-
costly.
There's a new supply needed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm open if any of the councillors. Oh, Michael.
Just one small consideration. I'm very conscious when you watch things like Daily Politics and Question Time, the quality of the PA system that they incorporate, the little microphones that they have. I wonder if it's something we could consider maybe for the future, for the main hall in terms of the PA system, if it feels that it's due an overhaul.
Michael, that doesn't come under the leisure budget.
It doesn't, it comes from what, strategy and policy? Fine, okay then.
Anyone have any? Yep.
I was asking about the summer fund income and expenditure. It looks like the income this year was just shy of 25,000. But our costs were over 25,000, about 700 difference. Do we need to plug that gap for next year?
Let's have a look. So are you saying that it went over budget?
Yeah, it was 25,543 overspend against an income of 24,895. So it's about just over £600 difference, £650 difference.
Potentially, yeah. because prices are going to be going up, so it wouldn't be a bad idea.
I'm just wondering whether you make that 7,700 or something to try and plug that gap.
Inclined to go for 8, considering the prices that are going to be
Okay.
increasing.
So, sorry, I'm just gonna come back to oh, sorry, if you
Yeah.
just in that. But I just wondered about the paddle boarding, because it is a good point. It is quite on the rise. I don't know a lot about it. I don't know. Well, it's like paddle boarding is like what's the right way of putting it? It's a
Cross between tennis and squash.
tennis and squash, yeah, and it's quite popular in. I've seen it in Europe and in the States quite a lot, and it's taking off. I mean, I don't know enough about it, but I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts, because it is.
Make a suggestion. I was at tennis club to come up with a paper describing it and what.
The proposal could be,
Yeah.
yeah, because I
what would
like
be
the idea.
required is, is a core, is it
Well,
core?
My understanding of it is it's a bit more.
That's tennis.
My understanding is it's quite inclusive, like all a bit more of a wider ability range can play. You don't have to be brilliant, is what I understand, which suits me because I'm rubbish at tennis. But no, it's not
It
bad.
does have its problems because you need to have access, which is the problem we've always had with the courts, the tennis courts, and you'd have it even more so with that. And of course, there is a glass back wall, which might be an attraction for people to hit it and see if they can do anything with it. I don't know. I'm a bit sceptical about the vandals on the park. But it's Bracknell. They've made it work. They've got half a dozen courts down there already, and we can talk to them and see how much it costs and whether it is viable.
I just imagine that our residents would quite like it.
They've got quite a few of those up at David Lloyd, and they're always really booked out.
What's the
Family.
Sorry, Mike.
what's the mechanism for sort of club suggested ideas? Is it now?
No, they come into me and then they go on an agenda.
Okay, so this is just purely if something is generated by the committee members themselves at this point.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. But when the floodlights we've looked at before, I did like that paddleboards idea.
Paddle tennis, I think it's
Paddle
called.
tennis.
Is it paddle
Paddle
tennis?
tennis, yeah.
Yeah, paddleboards. Yeah.
No water involved.
Yeah, you can board down the allotments now if you like.
Okay. If you don't mind putting something, because it's
No, I'll do that. I get some photographs of the typical, the one at Bracknell. I go down there and talk to them, and if you can give me a contact down there, I'll go down and talk to them and understand their costs and come up with a paper. No problem.
yeah, I like that. Anyway, sorry.
But again, that can be worked over the next year rather than.
Oh, it's not for a 5 minute thing. It's this, but obviously it's arisen. Does anyone else have any comments specifically about the budget? Sorry, we got a piece.
So just a question really, recognising we're in another wet period. Is there any sort of large capital works for the improvement of the pitches or anything that's been suggested or moved? So pumps or drainage of any description?
So nothing's been moved, no. Obviously, I'm sure you're aware that Philip and I have had some dialogue recently. So, yeah, there's some business as usual, verti-draining inquiries going on.
Yeah, we're on a floodplain. I think the chances of spending any rational money is beyond our
Football pitches
likely.
on stilts.
Well, you certainly have to raise it a foot to do anything useful. £23 million.
To remember that the discussion we had previously was that, we can't stop it flooding, but if the right sort of drainage work was done, the pitches would be playable much sooner after a flood.
Oh,
As representing the football club, there is funding available from the FA to support the council.
Yes, well, you did have this, and the football club were going to go and get the FA to do a report.
Mm.
We've not actually had that.
Okay, we'll chase that
So
up.
that could be a starting
Yeah.
point if you can
I'll check
chase
that
that up.
Yeah.
Just want to meet the moles. They're getting all this lovely treatment for 500 quid.
Any
I
other?
wouldn't like what they're getting down.
It will take two. Can, any other comments at all? Yes, Nick.
I noticed that we haven't, that there's footpaths on the park, 40 grand. Not spent.
Yeah.
Is that? We talked about that last time, didn't we?
But that does.
That's historic, isn't it?
No, that one was put in, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, to do some work in Ellesmere Park.
Right.
Which has not yet materialised, but obviously it's sensible to put on hold if we're considering a pump track up there, because one of the paths is
It's
the one
just that,
all the way back.
yeah, that's a 40 grand commitment in our budget, which, you know, if it's not needed, then we should take it out. 'Cause,
Well, this committee did agree to put it in there to go towards paths in Ellesmere because they're not in the greatest condition.
okay. But it was only in for this year, was it?
I can't remember off the top of my head if it went in last year's budget or the year before. I'd need to look.
Okay, it's just, if it's going to float from year to year, then fine, but,
I think that's what we said. I'm pretty sure we talked about it before.
It was a one-off. It's not one that will accumulate.
right, okay.
But it won't be going across. Where are you saying? Is it in reserve?
So it's on 3202, no, it's just footpaths, it's in the main budget, it's not in the
Yeah.
reserve. Now,
No. so
if you
it's
wanted
put
to
in there
have a reserve for the
Fixed.
footpaths, then put it in the reserve rather than putting it in the main budget, because I just think it far artificially inflates the leisure budget by 40 grand.
Well, swings and roundabouts because it'll just inflate the reserves, but yeah, it's fine.
Make a proposal. Fine.
You can leave it in if you want, just. But, yeah, it's one of those things, it makes our, general number look 40 grand too high. We didn't spend it last year, so it's going to keep moving from year to year.
Do we need to do a proposal for that? So putting the reserves. Do you want to propose that?
I would propose that, yeah, if you want to spend it and keep it for footpaths, then you put it in a reserve.
It's not me that wants to spend it, but you want to spend it.
Okay, all in favour?
What we're asking.
It's the reserve.
I followed that bit, but I don't see the point.
Well then,
Because we still need to do the work.
Because it protects that money. It won't get taken out of the budget next year
Okay.
because it will just be there as a pot. So when you need the 40 grand, you've got 40 grand available in a reserve.
With footpaths on it.
Yes,
Yeah, it's very similar to the car park reserve.
just like we have a car park reserve.
Okay. So why do we need to move it?
so that
in the ordinary.
Because at the moment, it's moving year on year in the ordinary budget.
Yeah, we didn't know we were going to
Does it
spend
look,
it.
does that make it look like new money?
Yes, it looks like it 40 grand every year.
That's why it needs to go into the reserve.
Correct.
Well, you didn't say that.
I think
My brain didn't
No,
know
you
you did that.
That's, yeah, yes, that's
all
what's
in favour?
Uh-huh.
Any against? Any abstaining? Marvellous. Right, I'm going to move on to the next agenda item unless
Just before you do, sorry,
anyone
Graham,
wants to-
is that everything then on budget? So just in summary, what we're doing, we need to vote on is summer and fun going up to 8,000. Obviously, we've just voted on the reserve. Nothing else that this committee wants to put forward to go in this year's budget.
No. Okay. Do you want me to propose that?
So the answer.
Yeah, can I propose that we raise the summer fund to 8,000?
You had 32,000 down.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, Nicky's. All in favour? Any against? Any abstaining? No. Marvellous. Right. Let's move on to agenda item number 12, please. Councillor reports. Any councillor reports? Let's start here.
Press it, press it.
Oh, sorry.
Press the publication.
Press and publication for plan to review and add leisure elements to the press and publication for plan as required to receive an update on recent press articles released by Sandhurst.
The only thing that's come out this week was just Facebook notification that the table tennis table is now up and running in Outmore Park.
Yeah.
I don't have any other press.
Okay, all right. Councillor reports. I'm just going to go around. If you do, just shout.
Report, a reminder more than a report. Given the interest we have in parking when events are on and so forth, Bracknell Forest Council is undertaking a consultation to renew their supplementary planning document on parking policy. And can I absolutely recommend every single one of you go on it, look at the current, there is a separate document called Parking Standards SPD, and they're updating that. If you want ideas, the neighbourhood plan has a section in it about parking, etc. But please, given the sensitivity of it in this area, both on and around the park, please go have a look at it. If anybody wishes to test an idea and give me a call or an email to say, is this appropriate? I'm happy to offer any advice if it's within my scope. But I think it's too big an opportunity to miss, to just allow it to drift past. I will be making a personal input and I will be asking the planning committee members to review, etc. And so I'm asking, because of its implication to this committee and the council, that we all take part in that consultation. Go online, you complete it, and you put in your response, please.
Okay, thanks for that. Sports club, please.
Evening, everyone. Nothing much to report with us, really. Did along quite nicely. No, Christmas was good. New Year's Eve was great fun. Everyone had a good time. We would like to ask if it's possible for the club to have a key to the gate that leads down to the pond. There was an incident on Sunday where an elderly man fell, and it was with great difficulty that the ambulance got down there. It was only because the caretaker happened to be around and had the key. I mean, we managed to let the ambulance through where it needed to come.
Yeah, I do think that there was one in your key cabinet, but
We shouldn't find one.
I don't can look at getting it.
Yeah, I just
then, that's
thought,
fine.
just so we could have,
Yeah.
I mean, it was great, the caretaker was around.
Yeah, he was on duty.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
expecting a bit.
Yeah, that's fine. And so I thought there was one in there, Liz, so we can certainly get an.
I certainly haven't seen anything labelled and we've redone them all recently, so
That's fine.
anyway, yeah. We'd also like to inform council that the club had offered a space in the bar for the SRA to meet. And at no point were they offered the committee room. And as always, we are abiding by our lease and constitution. And thank you to the ground staff, because I'm not sure I've been at a meeting since that repaired the paving slabs so quickly. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. And we continue to work with Sandhurst Football Club and support other organisations in our community where we can. But Sandhurst Football Club have been a great support to us recently, and we look forward to building on that relationship.
Marvellous. Thank you very much. And Sandhurst Residents Association.
Very little to report, really. Interesting new members come onto our committee that are dragging us into the 21st century. Introducing us to cloud storage, which a bit past us up to now, but we're getting there. The other thing, I'd just like to thank Councillor Williams, who's been trying to tackle the, frankly, really uneven and dangerous path that's outside Ringmead in Yorktown Road. And you would think it's very easy to find out who is responsible, but as she will tell you, it is.
Outside where?
Ask Michael Brosnan.
We know the situation very well with Boots. That went on for 2.5 years.
Apparently Ringmead are responsible for a couple of meters from the doors,
From their door.
from their door.
Yeah, because that's private property.
Hmm.
It's when you get to the paving slabs.
Yeah.
Which effectively run from Boots through Confidential to Sandhurst Group Practice. It's that whole area.
Richard, can I suggest that you speak to Michael, because that isn't strictly true what you've just said, because from our land registry, we actually did find out that they are responsible for the path and some of even as far up to some of the parking spaces. So if you could take that offline with Michael, he has a whole file of legal documents that might be helpful to you.
Yeah.
I can forward you.
Copies as well.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah. Okay.
That's all. Thank you very much.
Marvellous. And sporting clubs and societies. So let's start with the cricket.
Not much to add, apart from clearly the ground being underwater. Pleased to report that talking to the ground staff, they say that the repairs at the end of last season have gone very well. So we're very pleased about that. So thank you for the support on that. I think I mentioned last time round that we need to replace our scoreboard, which lasted 30 years from when the building was put up. That's come in at the budget for it, 2,500 over the money we've raised for it, which we put a grant in for, or a grant application in for. Aside from that, preparing for the season and hoping for the weather to turn.
Otherwise, snorkels at the ready.
Exactly.
Tennis.
Yeah, it's winter, so there's not an awful lot going on. But we do play every week in spite of the weather. And even when it's raining, we manage to keep going. But it's difficult because of the weather, that's for sure. We do have some couple of teams in the Berkshire Leagues, and so we play both here and away. And we're trying to elevate the standard of tennis in that way. But it's difficult in winter, and therefore we're looking forward to the summer when we'll get some more tennis in.
It's gardening.
Thank you. Yes, we're about to reopen properly after being closed for the winter season. So we had our first club night yesterday. And an amazing number of people battled through the foul weather last night to come and hear the talk. I just wanted to say, during the month of November, we had ridiculous ongoing problems with football, either supporters or parents, I'm not sure which, and entry to the gate on Sunday mornings. We man the gate on Sunday mornings to let our members in to use the trading hut. And there was a lot of cross messages going on, and poor old Ange must have dreaded coming in on a Monday morning and seeing another email from me about things that had gone wrong. Some parents, unfortunately, are quite as polite as they should be and everything, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I think it's sorted now. We will know this Sunday is the first time we've opened since all that happened. So, you know, we're hoping that it will be resolved, but it has been quite an unpleasant time on occasion.
Is it that they're asking to come through then?
Yeah, it goes a little bit beyond asking on occasion. And it was the worst incident we had was, very luckily, it was a friend of mine who is extremely resilient and is quite happy to say, no, you can't come in. But nevertheless, somebody tailgated and followed. I think it was an allotment person, not the allotment person's fault, you know, but I think I hope it's sorted now. And I do appreciate what you did in terms of liaison.
Was that to do with, sorry to interrupt, was that to do with Bracknell and EPC rather than Sandhurst?
Yeah, I'm afraid we just are told it's football, so we've got no idea.
No, that's fine.
It's just people turn up and say, we're with the football, you've got to let us in. And
No, you bloody well done.
yeah, well, yeah. If only it was that easy. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Cautiously optimistic. As I said, we've had our first meeting. Next month we see our AGM. And we've prepared all our finances for it. Interestingly, we've taken a huge financial hit over the last year in our trading hut, a massive hit for us, which we can only put down to the ongoing works that were going on Yorktown Road for week after week. I know we weren't the only people affected. We're not a business in the same way that other businesses along Yorktown Road were hit, but the well-being, the profits made by the trading hut subsidise the rest of the club and the activities we do. And that's, I haven't got the final figures yet, but they're really not looking very good. And we're just hoping it won't impact us too much. It's really for your information. I'm not expecting anything to be done, clearly, but those works didn't just affect the businesses we see. And if it's affected us, I don't know, but I don't know if there are other small clubs in this situation that would have been affected in the same way.
I know the day centre, when we was at the meeting, the day centre said that the shop takings, it was down quite, it was, quite badly.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you very much.
The allotments, again, not a great deal happens over the winter time other than it rains a lot and we end up underwater. But that, all plots are taken, 6 on the waiting list. They'll wait, I suspect, about 18 months to 2 years before they'll get a plot at the current rate. On the 10th of January, we held our wassailing event. We had about 70 people turned up. Our trees were blessed, and we look forward to good harvests later in the year. In March, we hold our AGM, and I just want to acknowledge the Strategy and Policy Committee's kind acknowledgement of our application for a grant, and they considered it out of turn, and they've granted us £600 towards continuing Project Flatfoot. And when the weather turns a little bit better, as spring comes in, we'll get on and do that work, and that'll be another 25 metres of the path done. So we're doing well, but otherwise it's all good.
When are you expecting the hose pipe ban?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm my first up the meeting, so it's nice to see you all. As you expect, we're struggling through the winter with pitches. We've just installed a new boiler and repaired some leaks in some of the changing rooms, and we're conducting a general cleanup of the building to try and get it back to where it should be. And we have some concerns regarding our tournament coming up in May. We've done parking in Shepherd's Meadow. I believe there's plans for an orchard to be put in there.
Yes, Bracknell Forest.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm afraid.
No.
If you want to direct that to them.
Will do. Thank you. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. I never knew that.
I didn't know that there was going to be an orchard, but then
The borough council haven't mentioned, I mean,
What's it they do?
there's the other borough councillors in here.
Okay, everyone? Fine.
I didn't hear what's being done. I'm sorry.
They said about the parking for the football tournament, but apparently there's an orchard being put in, but that's nothing to do with us.
Shepherd Meadow.
Shepherd's.
Oh, Shepherd's Meadow.
Shepherd, not the S.
It's just, okay, so,
You heard, Nick?
that's the end of, the meeting, everyone. The next meeting is on the 19th of March.
Yeah.
And I shall see you then.
Thank you.